What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another 7 Nights video, and today we are talking about Kyrielle. So I did say that she's not like the most broken unit. You don't really have to pull too many copies of her, and I think it's still true. You can use her in Adventure on a magic team, which is a very common setup that people use to push Adventure, and you can see even at T0 she'll be very good. I do have her T6, so before you say you have her T6, what are you talking about? The thing is, her T6 doesn't really do too much for PvE. You're just getting crowd control immunity, which is good for some stages, but doesn't really matter like 90% of the time. You also get an extra barrier strength on your guts, but that doesn't really matter either. And her T2 gives her this activate again on a Regulus when you kill something with it. You're not going to really ever kill anything for this to matter with this skill. In fact, you're usually killing everything at the same time with the magic comp, right? And the reason why is because the magic comp revolves around this guy, Mercure, right? You're spreading this magic reflux, and once the stacks start stacking, you just kind of kill everything at the same time. So she's really good in this comp, right? You have something like Yunny, you have Mercure, which is like the two core magic damage characters for the magic team. And for the last third slot, because you do need 3 magic heroes to activate the magic reflux, you can slot in Kyrielle. You can also slot in something like a Yushin if you have him. He's pretty decent as well because he has CC. However, I will say that Kyrielle is really good because she gives your team a lot more magic damage, right? This magic damage boost from her passive is extremely powerful, and it just makes it so that you do a ton more damage. So you can use Kyrielle instead of Yushin, or if you have Yushin, you can use him with Kyrielle. So you can run 4 magic characters, right? You can even run something like Vanessa because she has a lot of CC as well, and she also has this defense reduction permanently. And also you can just run any CC'er in general. You don't have to run another magic character for that 4th slot because Kyrielle is a magic user, right? So you can run Yunny, Kyrielle, Mercure, and then for the 4th slot, you can just bring whatever CC character that you have that you want to bring. You can even bring something like a Kagura just for the extra Petrify if you want. You could bring like a Tio if you want extra damage if you're using Kyle on your other physical team. So there's a lot of options which Kyrielle allows you to use. But for the 5th slot, you probably are going to want to bring Lena because Lena has the really strong T2 for extra crit damage, and she has very good healing once you enhance her basic attack. So, Kyrielle, I think she's a very good adventure hero. A lot of people were kind of sad that I said that she wasn't that OP, but I think in the terms of pushing adventure on a magic team, she is extremely good. In terms of her skill investments, you don't really need anything. I did this mostly for PvP, right? The passive skill enhancement is just giving her a little bit extra damage from having more speed, which doesn't matter too much. She's more of a sub DPS in this setup more than a main DPS. And you get a little bit more magic damage boost to your team, which also is good, but doesn't really matter too much. And I do have her basic attack, which is mostly for PvP, which adds a paralysis chance. English is hard. So yeah, it's pretty good as well. But you're going to see that she's pretty good. Her skill 2 does decent damage. It also pierces, so anything with damage immunity still takes damage. And you have 2 chances, so a 60% chance total to land paralysis, which is very strong, right? You can CC enemies for 2 turns, and her CC is pretty reliable. Now, in terms of the build, it's really up to you what you want to build her on. You can build her on a damage setup like I have with like crit rate, attack percent, crit damage even is probably the best over this weapon. I just have attack percent because this is my PvP setup. Or you can run her on a more supportive effect hit rate build if you want to land your debuffs more often. So it's really up to you. If you find that you're lacking damage, you can build her on damage. And if you find that you need more CC and need more reliable CC, you can build her on an effect hit rate build. So she's very flexible, which is a good thing. You can build her as a sub DPS or a pure CC'er with her skill 2. And she can also buff your team as a CC'er as well. And it makes it so that you can just slot her in and play her for a lot of magic teams for adventure, which makes her very good. So I think this character, definitely a character you want to get at least to T0 because yeah, her passive's just too good for magic teams, and you can definitely slot her in for adventure and start pushing Nightmare with her very easily, even into the harder stages, which I will show you. So I'll show you guys how this team actually works with Kyrielle slotted in. You're going to see it's pretty standard to most magic comps where you're kind of just CCing over and over because you're not really a tanky comp, but Kyrielle's really good at this because 1, she has that paralysis, I think it's paralysis, right? and she's going to be able to, yeah, it is paralysis. I thought it might have been shock for a second. But this allows her to lock down the enemies while also doing a decent amount of damage. And this is really important because, you know, you're always on like this clock for Nightmare, because after 200 turns, you actually end up enraging the monsters. They do more damage to you. But Kyriel's really good because she's a CC'er and also a damage dealer at the same time, which is very valuable. So you can see, even though my Yunhee is locked down most of the fight, which, you know, it's really bad because she's usually the only damage dealer, it's fine because we have Kyrielle, because she's able to do the damage for us. And you can see, as I set up with Lina here, I should be able to use this nuke ability, and with these Mercure stacks that have stacked quite a bit, she should be able to do a fair amount of damage. So you could see the back ad almost dies. If we had a little bit more stacks, it would have actually died. And the guts comes into play here. She's able to survive, which is very important. These back rooks can actually just one-tap you, which is very annoying. So she's able to kind of whittle down them for my Yunhee. And the buff she gives my Yunhee, you can see that she just makes her hit like an absolute truck. So you can see Yunhee's damage is insane in general, but with Kyriel's passive, I am able to actually do a ton more damage with her. And the funny thing is, I was actually stuck on this stage until I got Kyrielle. I don't think she's really required for this team, but the thing is, like, her passive is actually crazy, right? You're getting this Guts barrier, which makes her very tanky, and also the magic damage boost is so strong if you have a Yunhee already, because Yunhee's passive is magic attack boost, and these stack. So yeah, and she also has this magic damage boost, which also stacks. So yeah, and in case you guys do not believe me, I'll actually pause it and show you guys the passives. A lot of people don't understand how passive stacking works, but you're gonna see with my Yunhee, she gets that magic damage boost for herself from her passive. Then she's giving a magic attack boost to everyone on the team with her passive. And then Kyriel's passive is also giving a magic damage boost. And then we have Lina here with that crit damage boost. So that's why she hits so hard. And this combo is extremely powerful. You can pretty much slot in any CC character for Yushin here, and it ends up being very good. I think Yushin is the best if you have in T2 because he does have a Dispel. But you can see the comp that you can use now for magic adventure pushing has so much damage, which makes it extremely powerful. And if you have something like a Yunji, or if you guys don't have Yunji, you can use Note. You can get even more magic damage. You can see it's just buffing Yunhee a lot. And in case your Yunhee gets CC'd, you can stall a lot of time with 3 characters that can CC in this comp. And she can also do a decent amount of damage herself. But that is pretty much Kyrielle, guys. She's pretty good. I think, like I said in my previous video, not like the most broken character ever, but she's very good for magic teams, and especially if you're pushing adventure and you need like another character to slot in. A lot of people really struggle, like I mentioned, to find that 5th slot, right? It's usually always Yunhee, Mercure, Lina, and then you're kind of struggling to fill in the last 2 slots. You can use an immunity if you need it, and then you can use Kyrielle in that 5th slot, and it works very well. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.